Ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna hide this freaking chat. Chat sucks. But now I can't see chat from YouTube and other stuff, but oh, I can see it here. Let me just screenshot my positions. We are live. You need something to fill your portfolio? I got you. Let me post my positions really quick. We got 5 minutes till these earnings calls are live. I'm gonna quote tweet it with my positions. Wait, why does my stream show up as untitled? Oh shit, did I not like save it on Restream with the title? No, it has a title. Okay, X is just bugging out. Let me add my screen in here. Let me crop this. Yes, I'm wearing a hoodie. Oh, it does show title? Okay, sweet. But yeah, I am wearing a hoodie. Or not a hoodie, a beanie, which is a little bit cringe, but my hair is kind of crazy right now. Okay, let me pull up Kalshi right now. Whoa. Very zoomed in. But the earnings calls are starting in 4 minutes. Let's talk through some of the plays. Everybody's focused right now on the NYC race, which is exciting, but obviously we're never going to miss a mention market. Okay, this looks good. What are my predictions? Let's get into it. I'll screenshot as we go through. So Palantir, I'm writing no Hadean, yes lethal. The reason they would say Hadean, the reason they say Hadean is they just partnered with this company. I think they're like a UK manufacturer. I wanted to buy No Hadean closer to 30 cents, but I told Grande Top 10 about it. Grande Market bought it. Now it's up to 40 cents. Still think there's value buying it at 40, so I got it at 39 cents, about 1,000 shares. But basically, the thesis there is like historically they never mention who they're partnering on the earnings calls. If you look at some of their past partnerships, obviously this can change. I tried to research to understand how large of a partnership this was, because obviously if this is a much larger partnership than historically, they're going to mention it more than they've mentioned like past partnerships. We're writing yes lethal. We got in at about 67 cents for 750 shares. I mean, it's Palantir. How are they not going to talk about lethality? What's going on, Jared? For hims and hers. Oh, sweet. I can actually screenshot this in one go. Here we go. Palantir and mentions. Current positions. All right, let me post these out. Okay, let me get to these earnings calls. I'm going to be missing it if I don't load it immediately. But yeah, I'm showing on my screen. You can see my positions basically, but I'll talk through it more. Oh gosh, why is Curtis Sliwa jumping into the mix? Okay. Am I going to watch both of these at the same time, I guess? I have more on the line for him and hers. Oh, why is the announcers coming up? Damn, I'm getting some big size in the announcer market. Any positions in Snapchat earnings? No, isn't that like tomorrow? That's not today, right? Or did I miss an earnings today? They must have added it recently if I missed it. But I think that's not today, right? All right, news, Palantir. Oh my gosh, okay, live public webcast, 5 p.m. ET. Here it is. Let me just put my name, dox myself to Palantir. That's very dangerous, but whatever. What's Palantir going to do with my data? Company unemployed. Content, whatever. Okay, submit. Get me in. Oh my gosh, I have to access it via my email. Government contract would be a yes? Yeah, probably. I mean, they are like all government contracts. But what's that trading at? Like 80 or 90? That's got to be like pretty bonded, right? Of a strike? I haven't looked. Switch accounts, Joel. Okay. All right, now Palantir knows my data. Oh, nice. This is on YouTube.
Concerning those risks, it's available in our earnings press release distributed after the market closed today and in our SEC filings. We undertake no obligation to update forward-looking statements except as required by law.
I have it up now.
Further, during the course of today's call, we will refer to certain adjusted financial measures. These non-GAAP financial measures should be considered in isolation from, not as a substitute for,
additional information about GAAP
measures, including additional information about non-GAAP measures, including reconciliation of non-GAAP press release and investor presentation.
All right, I'll Palantir up.
Our press release, investor presentation, and other earnings materials are available on our investor relations website at investors.palantir.com.
What's up, Yaza?
Over the course of the call, we will refer to various growth rates when discussing our business. These rates reflect year-over-year comparisons unless otherwise stated. Joining me on today's call are Alex Karp, Chief Executive Officer,
I've actually never
Shyam Sankar, Chief Technology Officer, Dave Glazer, Chief Financial Officer, and Ryan Taylor, Chief Revenue Officer and Chief Legal Officer.
All right, I pulled all my resting orders.
I'll now turn it over to Ryan to start the call.
I don't have any
monumental third quarter, shattering expectations
on him and
yet
hers.
again.
I think I'm just on
Our overall revenue grew 63% year over year and 18% sequentially.
Let's see.
We outperformed across
I
the
guess
board,
I have some small
driven by strong execution in the U.S., which accounted for 3/4 of our business.
I will give all my
in
data
Q3,
for smooth earnings.
growing
Are you playing these earnings,
77%
Loxy?
year over year and 20% sequentially. Our Rule of 40 score soared to an unprecedented 114, up 46 points year over year and a full 20 points since last quarter alone, reinforcing our position as the defining enterprise software company of our generation. Our U.S. commercial percent year over year. Our U.S. commercial business grew an incredible 121% year over year, and quantified exceptionalism, compelling customers to scale demand across their quantified exceptionalism, compelling customers. Organizations are embracing an undeniable truth. Real organizations are embracing requires.
Are you guys hearing the earnings call right now?
We're seeing that AIP again and again requires Palantir. The only platform. We're seeing that AIP transformational again and again in this market. The only platform critically delivering transformational impact on this AI platform, and critically down on my AIP for compounding your enterprise's AI has an not just the model makers leverage over you.
You guys were probably
sharing this leverage with our customers is our highest
there's
priority.
Only one now.
Our whole company is singularly focused around value creation for our customers, and I'm proud to share with you all the fruits of our labor. We closed our highest TCV quarter ever at $2.8 billion. Underlying this performance, we closed a staggering 204 deals worth $1 million or more, of which 91 deals were worth $5 million or more, and 53 deals were worth $10 million or more. In our U.S. commercial business, which now accounts for 34% of our overall revenue, we closed $1.3 billion in TCV, a milestone achievement for the fastest growing area of our business, with a more than 6x year-over-year growth rate on a dollar-weighted duration basis. The trajectory is clear. Customers are converting to larger enterprise agreements in short timeframes, reflecting both the expanding scope of their AI ambitions and the immediate impact our software delivers. A leading medical device manufacturer signed a multi-year expansion just 5 months after their initial contract, increasing ACV more than 8-fold.
Okay, this is just, they're talking about
2 weeks into their initial contract,
going on, Ski?
The conversation evolved from a single
We're
use
not
case
winning yet,
to pursuing the opportunity of becoming an
mentioned
AI-first enterprise.
Their
CEO approached me to embrace a shared vision for an enterprise-wide AIP deployment to transform their entire organization.
Okay, he's talking about
this transformation reflects a broader pattern we're seeing across our customer base. AI is a strategic imperative owned at the C-suite level, with executive leadership recognizing that enterprise-wide AI adoption is the defining factor separating the AI haves and the AI have-nots. We're seeing C-suite-driven AI transformations across our customers. At a leading insurance company, The CEO has taken personal ownership of their AI transformation, meeting with our team regularly to orchestrate
AI
a company-wide
transformation
around
that one
AIP,
guy was on it,
reimagining every function
sharp.
from underwriting to claims processing, leading to a significant expansion of our work together. Our partnership with TWG Global, named Vergence.ai, continues to gain momentum, as TWG's Thomas Toll noted, quote, "What was once a competitive advantage is now a competitive necessity.
Lethal, I think, will come
Companies
up in
that
Q&A.
fail to incorporate AI into their core operations will be outpaced by those that do." These examples
Does anyone know what
we
Palantir
are
does,
seeing.
by the way?
We are the only platform bringing true transformational impact to the enterprise AI market. Turning to our U.S. government business, revenue grew 52% year over year.
Should we try to listen to both him and hers
14%
and
sequentially
Palantir at the same
as we
time?
continue to deliver mission-critical capabilities. We
We're gonna try
remain
it.
deeply committed to our founding mission of supporting the U.S. government, honored by the privilege of equipping our nation with transformative software that actually works. We remain focused on delivering the most advanced defense capabilities in the world to the U.S. government and internationally to our allied partners around the world. The momentum we're carrying into Q4 is extraordinary. As we look towards the end of the year, our mission is clear. Deliver the production capabilities that turn AI from promise into performance for the enterprises defining the future of their industries through AIP's compounding AI leverage. I'll now turn it over to Sham.
Thanks, Ryan.
And we are leaning in.
20 years of grinding has built a
Let's
unique
start with
moat
weight
and
loss.
growing lead. Our products were built for this moment, and the numbers
Are
continue
you
to
guys
show.
ready for 2 earnings calls at
Realizing
once?
value from AI in the enterprise requires
Since
the
launching this
elegant
specialty
integration
nearly
of
2 years
LLMs,
ago, we've shown
workflow,
that
and
combining
software.
reliable
And this is
access to
only
effective
possible with
medication
ontology.
with a best-in-class
Our
experience has the
foundational
potential to
investments in
change
ontology
lives.
and infrastructure have
We
positioned
believe that
us to
customers are
uniquely
best
deliver
supported
If you are
when
not
they have
listening
access
to
to
2 earnings calls
data-driven
at
provider
once, you are not locked in
recommendations,
enough.
ongoing
The
clinical
most
guidance,
significant product
and
developments
easy-to-use
are the
digital
accelerating
tools that
progress
track
in our
progress.
AI applications inside
The
of AIP.
foundation behind our continued growth
AI FDE,
will be the
our
ongoing
AIP native
verticalization of
development
our
agent that
compounding
understands
infrastructure.
how to connect
We
to data
believe
sources, how to
investments in
integrate
these
and transform
facilities
data,
are
how to create
establishing a new
ontologies and
gold
functions and
standard
build
for compounding
applications.
infrastructure
It's
broadly,
unleashing incredible
positioning us
speed
to
and productivity
accelerate growth.
for our FDEs and customer
All right,
developers
I'll
alike.
flip between the two. I
At
feel like
one
this is probably
customer,
too painful
two human
to listen to.
FDEs spawned an army of AI FDEs to migrate a customer off their legacy data warehouse in 5 days. Something that would have taken an army of SIs up to 2 years. This is not a prototype, this is production. Across our customers, the results are shocking. AI HiveMind is a new AIP capability that orchestrates a swarm of dynamically generated agents to tackle hard problem solving, idea generation and refinement, and executable proposal generation.
Palantir has partnered
that is
with Lumens, NVIDIA,
integrated
and the Army
with
recently.
ontology,
That's why I think
and therefore aware
partnership
of the
is a
context
lock.
of your enterprise.
Yeah, you're probably right.
AI HiveMind was originally developed to solve extremely complex problems in the classified space, but it's already been used to help our commercial customers identify bottlenecks in their supply chain proactively, developing
these hit
possible
yet?
solutions, and then leveraging AI FDE to code that up into an actual solution. In the government space, AI HiveMind is able to take its proposals and generate intricate
Vibe-coded
mission
live
plans right in
transcribing
Gaia.
controller.
and
I
Math.
know I need it.
Our focus with
That would be
AIP
fun.
continues to be enterprise
Wait,
autonomy,
what already
our
hit?
normative view of where the value is for AI in the enterprise. HiveMind now lets the AI develop novel solutions to emergent challenges and to identify hidden opportunities. And the rest of AIP enables you to turn those ideas
What hit,
into an
Loxy?
implemented reality. Closed loop evolution
Yeah,
of
I
the
should get a
business
live
with
transcriber for
AI
streams. That'd be kinda
possible
fun.
because of AIP and ontology. We continue to make investments that allow enterprises to extend AIP to the far edge. Edge Ontology is a new lightweight implementation of ontology that runs on mobile devices and enables customers to build mobile applications or embedded software for hardware, things like drones and robots, and is fully integrated with your enterprise's AIP instance.
This is way
Turning
more
to field-facing updates, the U.S.
relaxed
Army
of
issued
a
an official
Palantir
public
earnings
memo directing all Army organizations
than I
to
would
consolidate
expect.
and centralize on Vantage, the Army data platform built on Foundry and
Has
AIP.
the CEO already talked? I thought Alex
The Army
Karp
views
was
this
like,
not merely as a technical
pretty
decision,
crazy
but a cultural decision,
on his
enabling
calls,
the
at least.
data-driven decision-making that continues to make our Army the most
Tonka
lethal
time.
in the
I'm
world.
probably leaning on AI growth.
This directive
no.
will enable the Army to rapidly
But I
sunset
haven't-
legacy systems
I mean,
and
it's
enable
never
more
come up on
investment
their
in the
earnings
Army's
calls.
future
And
force concept and
Esoteric
systems.
Catboy, which I love
Warp
that
Speed,
name,
and the American Tech
He's
Fellowship are
a
early
huge
investments
mention
to
sharp
support
lately.
manufacturing and
He's new,
reindustrialization
but he's
in
also
America are
riding
bearing
heavy on
fruit.
no.
While Warp Speed launched by helping
Lethal just
new
hit.
defense entrants meet their surging production goals,
We
it's
got there
now
at 66
being rapidly
cents.
adopted across the traditional defense industrial base and the maritime
Boom.
industrial base. The second cohort of the
Let's
American Tech Fellowship
go,
will be wrapping
Lethal.
up in the next few weeks.
Lethal had
We
hit
started
4
the
for 4
American
in their
Tech
last
Fellowship
earnings
because we noticed
calls,
that
and I
many
was
of
able
our
to get
best
that at
builders
67
were
cents for
frontline
yes.
workers.
I'm not a
They
yes
don't come from
buyer.
conventional
I try to
consulting
buy no
backgrounds.
shares,
They don't have formal
but that
computer
was
science
mispriced.
backgrounds.
You can't tell me it wasn't.
To highlight a few of these folks, Mason,
Here
a
we go.
Louisiana-based civil engineer, is building AI applications for more accurate estimates for heavy construction projects.
Lab
that
testing
is
already
only
hit on
going to
him and
grow
hers, too.
with our reindustrialization.
Granted, you know,
Michael,
it was 90
who works
cents.
for a potato
Wow, I
farm in North
predicted a
Dakota,
90
is
cent
streamlining its
strike,
operations.
right. Who cares?
And Cody
But
from Georgia, who is a utilities
see if-
expert, is building in Foundry to deliver safe, reliable energy across
yeah,
the
let's
South.
hold on Noah Dean.
These Americans are the true face of innovation, underscoring that it will be the American worker with AI that drives reindustrialization and American prosperity. Our customers have taken notice and asked us to create American Tech Fellowship programs for their employees specifically, to include Lear, who highlighted their fellowship in their recent
We're
earnings
holding
call.
on him and hers, too.
With that, I'll turn it over to Dave to take us through the numbers.
All right,
Sean.
Dave.
We had an outstanding third quarter, achieving a Rule of 40 score of 114, our highest ever by 20 points.
Definitely
We also
over
generated
19 and a
our
half
highest
days.
ever reported revenue growth
This is
rate
only
of
4.
63%
If I go to the living
year-over-year,
room, there's like
exceeding the high
30
end of our
storage
prior
boxes.
guidance
My
by
poor
1,300
fiance
basis
is like
points, and representing a
working a lot on it. I'm
3,300
trying to
basis
help
point
where I can,
increase
too.
compared to the growth rate in Q3 of last year.
Yes, I agree.
On the
Tom,
back of
time.
this extraordinary
it's going to be
strength,
Q&A if anything.
We
Probably.
are guiding to revenue of $1.329 billion in the fourth quarter, representing 13% growth quarter over quarter, our highest ever sequential revenue growth guide, and 61%
Vitamin
growth
hit on him and
year-over-year.
hers. Let's go.
We're also raising our full year 2025
Again,
revenue
this
guidance
was an 80
midpoint
cent strike.
to
So
$4.398
boring.
billion,
Oh, I predicted 80
representing a
cent.
53%
You know, but whatever.
year-over-year
$100
growth
bucks.
rate, an 8
$100 there, $20 here.
$252 million
We'll take it.
increase
Okay.
over our full year 2025 revenue.
You just got to
guidance
hold on some of
last
these long
quarter.
shots, like shut
In
down.
addition, we're raising
I have a
our
lot of
full-year
no's.
U.S. commercial revenue
Europe.
guidance to an excess of
I have a lot of no's.
$1.433 billion,
Hopefully we
representing
hold
a
on
growth rate of at
Hadian
least
no as well.
104% year over year, a 19-point increase over the guidance we gave just last quarter. Accelerating demand for AIP continues to drive the outperformance in our U.S. business overall.
I almost crashed
which grew
out after the
77%
NFL announcer
year-over-year
market
and
yesterday.
20%
They
sequentially
literally
in the third quarter.
Just
Our U.S. commercial business
snuck
grew
in
121% year-over-year
It was
and 29%
unbelievable.
sequentially. And our U.S. government
the
business
end of
grew
the third
52% year-over-year and 14% sequentially. We delivered these exceptional
we're good on all our
top-line
yes
results
shares. We just
while
have to hold
also
on all our
achieving
no's.
Our highest ever reported adjusted operating margin of 51%, exceeding the high end of our prior guidance by 500 basis points and highlighting the unit economics of our business at scale. Our revenue and profitability drove a 20-point sequential increase
Sounds
to
like
our Rule of
AI.
40
Yeah, I
score
guess you're right.
from 94 in the second quarter to 114 in the third quarter. On a trailing 12-month basis, we generated $2 billion in adjusted free cash flow for the first time in the company's history. Turning to our global top-line results, third quarter revenue grew 63% year-over-year and 18% sequentially to $1.181
yeah, it feels
billion.
great to get your yes
Third
shares out of
quarter
the
U.S.
way.
revenue grew
Now you just have
77%
to
year-over-year
sweat
and
no's.
20% sequentially to $883 million. Excluding the impact of revenue from strategic commercial contracts, third quarter revenue grew 65% year-over-year and 18% sequentially, and third quarter U.S. revenue grew 78% year-over-year.
Do you guys like
and
Palantir, or do you
20%
want me to put on
sequentially.
him and hers?
We closed our highest ever quarter
Or do we
of
play
TCV
both?
bookings.
You guys
at $2.8
choose.
billion,
Palantir,
up
him and hers, or both?
151% year-over-year. This eclipses our prior highest quarter of TCV bookings just last quarter by nearly $500 million. Customer count grew 45% year-over-year and 7% sequentially
Hims? All
to
right, I'm turning on
911
Hims.
customers. Revenue from our largest customers
consumer health
continues to
platform
expand.
globally.
Third quarter trailing
In
12-month
Europe,
revenue
our
from
acquisition
top
of
20
Zava
customers
Global
increased
gives us the
30%
infrastructure to serve customers across the UK,
We'll go back and
Germany, France, Ireland, and Spain.
Oh, Germany,
We're
France,
now
Ireland.
reaching a total addressable market of more than 200
No, they
million
hit
adults
Europe.
across these regions, and the early response continues to validate how naturally our model translates.
Cooked.
Next, we're preparing to
cooked
launch
on
in
Europe.
Canada in the near future.
We have a
notably
special guest, by
expanding
the
our
way,
North
who's
America
visiting New
presence.
York.
With 2/3 of Canadian adults overweight or living with obesity, we're incredibly excited about this opportunity to make high-touch care more accessible. We are in active discussions with leading generic manufacturers to ensure that once semaglutide becomes available in generic form in 2026, we are ready to deliver access through our platform. Looking ahead, we see international markets as a power.
We already got cooked there. I'm putting Palantir back on.
U.S. commercial revenue grew 126% year over year and 29%
of that Europe hit.
In the third quarter, we closed $1.3 billion of U.S. commercial TCV bookings, representing growth of 342% year over year and surpassing the billion-dollar mark for the first time. Over the past 12 months, we closed $3.8 billion of U.S. commercial TCV bookings, a 217% increase from the prior 12 months, highlighting the demand for AI production use cases. Total remaining deal value in our U.S. commercial business grew 199% year over year and 30% sequentially. Our U.S. commercial customer count grew to 530 customers, reflecting growth of 65% year over year
Obviously,
and 9%
if shutdown somehow
sequentially.
hits on him, so we would be completely
Third quarter
cooked.
international commercial revenue grew 10% year over year and 5% sequentially to $152 million. For international commercial business, we continue to capitalize on targeted growth opportunities in Asia, the Middle East, and beyond, but remain focused on accelerating the growth in our U.S. business. Revenue from strategic commercial contracts was $2.9 million for the quarter. We anticipate fourth quarter 2025 revenue from these contracts to be between $2 to $4 million, compared to $9.6 million in the fourth quarter of 2024. We anticipate 2025 revenue from these contracts to be less than half of 1% of full year.
We've already hit.
Shifting to our government segment.
Lethal, yes.
Third quarter government revenue grew 55%
we hit on vitamin and lab
and
testing,
14%
yes.
sequentially.
We just
to
lost
$633
$410 on Europe, no.
Third quarter U.S. government revenue grew 52% year over year and 14% sequentially
I got in at 82
to
on shutdown,
$486 million.
no.
This growth was driven by continued execution in existing programs and new awards, reflecting the growing demand for AI.
We just have to hold on
software
Hadian, no.
offerings.
It's the biggest play.
Third quarter international government revenue grew 66% year over year and 16% sequentially
So they
to
partnered
$147 million,
with
bolstered
Hadian,
primarily by our
this is
continued work in
Palantir.
the UK.
But they never
As
tend to
previously
mention
mentioned, we closed our
partnerships in
highest
their
ever
earnings
quarter
calls.
of
It was
TCV
priced
bookings
very
at
likely that they would
$2.8
say
billion,
Hadian,
up 151%
but
year over year.
I don't think
Net
it's going to
dollar
happen.
retention was 134%, an increase of 600 basis points from last quarter. The increase was driven both by expansions
They're happening
in
right
existing
now
customers
simultaneously.
and new
We were
customers
listening to
acquired
two earnings
in
calls
Q3 of
at
last
once
year,
at a
as we
certain
see
point.
the effect of the AI revolution. As net dollar retention does not include revenue from new customers that were acquired.
It fits
in the
my
past 12
personality,
months,
you know,
It does
Rainbow.
not yet fully capture the acceleration and velocity in our U.S. business over the past year. We ended the third quarter with $8.6 billion in total remaining deal value,
I was
an
giving you
increase
a
of
low-hanging,
91% year
easy
over year
joke.
and 21% sequentially, and $2.6 billion in remaining performance obligations, an increase of 66% year over year and 8% sequentially. As a reminder, RPO is primarily comprised of our commercial business, as it does not take into account contracts with an initial term of less than 12 months and contractual obligations
completely
that fall
mog
beyond
the order
termination
book.
for convenience clauses, both of which are common in most of
Grande,
our government
we're holding
business.
on Hadian. I
Turning
was
to
talking
marketing
about you. I said
Adjusted
how
gross margin,
I was
which
ready to buy
excludes
Hadian no
stock-based
shares at
compensation
30
expense,
cents.
was 84%.
You
for the
mogged the order book, and now I had to
Adjusted
get
income
in
from
at
operations,
38
which
cents.
excludes
It's better
stock-based
hold.
compensation expense and related employer payroll taxes, was $601 million, representing adjusted operating margin of 51%.
Oh, when you speak,
Q3 adjusted expense
closer
was
to the mic.
$581 million, up 8% sequentially and 29% year over year, primarily driven by our continued investment in AIP and technical hiring. We continue to expect expenses to increase in the fourth quarter as we remain committed to investing in the product pipeline and the most elite technical talent, all while
they
delivering
collab
on
a
goals
lot.
of sustained
I know
profitability.
Gaten and Grande are close.
Third quarter
That's-
GAAP operating income.
You know, I don't
was
know who's benefiting who. I don't know if
representing
Grande's giving
33%
Gaten all the
margin.
alpha or if it's the reverse.
Third quarter GAAP net income was $476 million, representing a 40% margin. Third quarter stock-based compensation expense was
He actually
$172
was.
million,
And he's
equity-related employer
that
payroll
Swifty
tax
was one of
expense
my
was $35
IRL
million.
friends.
Third quarter GAAP earnings per share was 18 cents. Third quarter adjusted earnings per share was 21 cents. Additionally, our combined revenue growth and adjusted operating margin accelerated to 114% in the third quarter, a 20-point increase to our Rule of 40 score for the prior quarter, and our 9th consecutive quarter of an expanding Rule of 40
Semper,
score.
we got to do a stream on
With
the
the increase in our
hourly
2025
crypto
revenue, and adjusted operating income
markets.
guidance,
I know you always
we are
trade
now
those.
guiding to a Rule of 40 score of 102% for the full year.
Did Simper change his name?
Turning to our cash flow. In the third quarter, we generated $508 million in
Wait, you
cash
guys
from
still can't hear
operations
Ben?
and
But the mic is
$540
set
million
to
in
this
adjusted free cash flow,
quadcast.
representing
How is it not
margins of
capturing?
43% and 46% respectively.
Interesting.
Additionally, we achieved $2 billion
Hello?
in trailing
Hello?
12-month adjusted free
Can you
cash
hear me
flow
now?
for the first time. Through the end of the
Yeah,
third
Ben is
quarter,
on
we
too,
repurchased
but
approximately 2.6
Maybe
million
it's
shares
working now
as
when
part
you
of
go
our share
close.
repurchase program. As of the end of the quarter, we have 880 million remaining of the original authorization.
It's better.
We ended the quarter with 6.4 billion in cash equivalents, and short-term U.S. Treasury securities. Now turning to our outlook.
But yeah, not
For
to
Q4
distract from the
2025,
earnings
we
going on
expect
right now.
Revenue of between
There is going to be a big
1.327
stream
and
tomorrow for the
1.331
NYC election.
billion,
So strap
and adjusted
in.
income from
First,
operations
I have a
of
huge
between
guest coming on tomorrow,
695 and
but I can't
699
publicize who he is.
For full year 2025, we are raising our revenue
he's-
guidance to between
he's interesting like that, you know?
4.396 and
It rhymes
4.400
with
billion.
Whoa, whoa.
Ramdami.
We are raising our U.S. commercial revenue guidance to an excess
rhymes
of
with,
1.433 billion, representing a growth
Furtis
rate of at least
Tliwa.
104%. We are raising our adjusted income from operations guidance to between 2.
It rhymes with Trill Pac-Man.
2.155 billion.
Or
We are raising
Trill
our adjusted free
Packin.
cash flow guidance to between 1.9 and 2.1 billion. And we continue to expect GAAP operating income and net income in each
All right,
quarter
we're
of
holding
this
so
year.
far on Hadian. I
With
don't
that,
care about my
I'll turn it
money,
over to
but
Alex for a
Grande's
few
money
remarks,
is on
and
this.
then Anna will kick off the
if
Q&A.
I lose Grande money after Grande's made me so much money, I'm going to feel
greetings.
terrible. Here's the Q&A. This is where it's going to
By
come.
any
Hope we can
normal
hold.
or even reasonable standard, these are not normal.
This is Carp speaking, I think.
Results.
This
These
guy
are not
will just
even
ramble
strong
on and
results. These
on.
aren't extraordinary results. These are arguably
good or
the best
bad for
results
That's bad
that
for
any software
Hadian.
company has
He's
ever
gonna
delivered.
ramble.
And that's not hyperbolic, despite what your analyst friends may want you to believe, because they've
Yaza's
been wrong at
money's
every
on the line,
price. They're
too.
wrong on every single round. But of course, they're persuasive, and they're not investing their own money.
Lock
but,
in on the earnings score. I see Grande's asking.
a normal enterprise company should not have a rule of 40 above 100. A normal
Atlas
enterprise
poll is a
company at our
whole
base should
lot of
not have
nothing.
over 100%
I'm not.
U.S.
I think that
commercial
Atlas poll is
growth.
trash.
Should not have
commercial growth just hit.
77% growth in the U.S. And by the way, that growth is being held down by a stagnant Europe, which is still a significant part of our business. So the pure unvarnished
Alex
numbers
Karp.
are 77% growth off of a
Don't
massive,
say
significant base
Hadian.
with very significant cash flow, with
do we
a
think
company
Karp
that throws
could-
off a
could
rule of 40
pull
of
a
114.
Coinbase CEO
And then,
just go, like,
if this
down the
world was
line
at
at
all
the very
sane,
end?
every
I don't think
single-
we'll see
every
it. I
single
didn't
person in
price
the
that into
financial
my
world would stop and
calculations
say,
here.
How did this happen? How did a company which stood by the American warfighter,
I honestly
Marine
think
special
the next
operators,
Coinbase call might be the
people in
most-
clandestine
one of the most
services, who
listened
stood
to
up for our
earnings
right
call
of free
in the
speech and
history of
was
earnings
really the
calls.
first company
The
to be
Coinbase earnings
completely
mention is going to go
anti-woke.
absolutely hard.
How did this company stick up for the American warfighter? Actually
Do we
give
think
normal
that,
Americans
like,
venture
he
quality results.
had
So
the
one of the
stripes,
issues we have
or
with the
do we
arbiters
think
of truth
he,
is
like, you know, someone just,
it
like,
was
pinged
the
him
American
and he just,
worker
like, wanted
that
to
we
be
supported
funny. 'Cause,
and the
like,
American
that's,
worker
you
that
know,
we helped
one-
make
been
rich.
one point of
And
discussion.
arbiters of truth
I
somehow
totally think someone
did not
just
participate in
pinged
that
him,
because
like
they were
you
such
said.
experts. And of course,
Obviously,
you know,
this guy doesn't
but
actually
what
have money
these
on any of these
numbers
strikes.
show
I mean,
is,
these order books are not that
doing
liquid
and
to where,
taking
like,
the American
it would ever
worker
make sense
along
for
with
someone
it.
like him to do something like
And,
that. So I think it was just a
doing
meme.
it in a way that foreshadowed the future. FDE,
You just called
ontology,
this the Cauchy
Foundry,
Pop
making
House.
each specific institution, making
I'm
the American
dead.
warfighter
Let's go.
fight the way the American warfighter is born to fight.
We need to
Empowering
get Foster in the
the
cut.
tenets
And
of
who
being,
else?
you know,
Moxie.
free,
Foster,
and
Loxy,
having the ability to do creative things.
We got to get
in the
probability
battlefield
duck
context.
to get on voice chat one
and
of
then,
these days.
taking
that man is sharp.
enterprises instead of selling
if you guys
them
don't follow
commodity,
Probability
parasitic
Duck,
software
he is
with a massive sales
unbelievably
force,
sharp.
with a kind of lumbering,
I respect him so much.
jargon-bearing leaders offering you steaks and dinners
All right,
and
man,
other
I
things
need
we
to start
shall not
speaking a little
mention, in
closer
order that
here.
you turn the value, the high value revenue of your enterprise over to them in return for these accolades.
this
We
is getting
created
kinda
direct
sus here with the rainbow
alignment
mic,
with our
you know,
customers. And what does that
PMT
mean?
saying to
It means
strap
when our
in,
customers have a
now we're-
unique and
Look,
tribal way
we're
of doing
sharing
something, whether it's
voice
underwriting or
mics over
fighting
here.
We gotta
or
lock in
making
for these
workers
mention markets.
even more valuable, we put an FDE we orchestrate an ontology, we take the tribal understanding of their business, the specific nature of their business that makes them particular and valuable and lethal, and we empower that. And how do we participate in that? Unlike seemingly, in the most obvious way, we are downstream from the value creation. So when you see 141 or you see 77% or 63 and you ask,
anytime you get a poll like that that's released this late in the race, and it's clearly a poll to like shift momentum and encourage Cuomo voters for turnout by saying this isn't going to be a landslide win for Mamdani, I discount it heavily. And I also discount Atlas Intel. I just don't like Atlas Intel. I never did. You can say they got 2024 election perfectly, but I think they just got lucky. I mean, you got to realize they're heavily recall.
Political version of this should be, wait a minute, how can we learn from this? How can we implement institutions?
By the way, you get really close
we have all these people talking about AI bottle.
One other thing, like to Atlas Intel's credit, they're very good at the nationwide high turnout races. However, Atlas Intel, it's a Brazilian polling firm. They have no business doing it at the state level much, or like the New York City local race, they just don't know how to uphold that. This is pure speculation. Please don't spread this, but I think it could be likely that one of Cuomo's big donors, Bill Ackman, one of these other guys, $5 million means nothing to them. They really don't want Mamdani to win, like PMT was saying. I think this is just a total momentum play. And that's like, okay, I will throw it in the average, but that doesn't change the average that much. Still
shows
plus 15 to plus 20
growth that is distinctive,
for
massive,
Mamdani.
And
I don't know how I even feel about Nvidia. I mean, let me look at historical.
There is this issue in the U.S. that we're all focused on at Palantir, which is what portion of the GDP growth that we're blessed to have in this country, meaning GDP growth defined or helped out and bolstered by AI.
Nvidia is like never hitting in historicals, so I don't think Nvidia is on sale, and I just don't think they like announcing partnerships that much and mentioning other companies. I don't know why, but that's why I'm taking no on Hadian, and that's why I'd probably potentially be no on Nvidia. I didn't play it, but I would caution buying yes Nvidia.
What's the current price?
It's like 50-50.
Doing the coding in AI.
Dang, so if they've never said it and we're halfway through the earnings call, you don't think no might be the play here?
They don't have, and actually,
I think they announced some big partnership with Nvidia, so there's vibes, right? You can't just look at transcripts.
Anybody with specific domain expertise.
It was 80 at open. Now it's dipped to 50-50.
More valuable in our product than they were yesterday. In fact, the real misalignment of AI is with people with commodity, like high-trained, elite institution, general specialist. That's just not as valuable as it was. And yes, the destructive, positive destruction of capitalism is going to put that class of people, typically the class of people that also is kind of skeptical of Palantir, under enormous pressure. But it is what I see in these numbers.
Look, this guy's going to ramble for a long time, so you got to be ready for that. Be ready to strap in for a long Q&A.
Yeah, we were right. You were wrong. And we are going to go very, very deep on our rightness because it is exceedingly good for America. It's exceedingly good for the American economy. It's as good for American workers. And you know what?
This guy is an American patriot right here, Alex Karp.
Explain why some other company is better than ours simply because they didn't make any money on our company and probably aren't. And we're just going to keep going and going and going. And then we're obviously not going to forecast for next year, but I would say, if you're thinking about how this company is going to go, look at our ability to value create, look at our ability to create revenue on the top end, look at the unit economics of our business. If you're a technical expert in how do you evaluate business, evaluate those numbers against any other business
you've ever seen. He is very patriotic, Semper.
And then make your decision. But yeah, I'm wildly enthusiastic. I think we're wildly enthusiastic.
He's wildly enthusiastic on America. I love it.
Thank you for those of you who stayed with us to enjoy these numbers, especially Palantirians. Who work day and night to deliver these
Palantirians. That's the poor Ben can't even hear the earnings call.
Thank you, Alex.
This
we'll
poor
now turn
guy
to questions
just.
from our shareholders before opening up the call.
This is quite
We received a
interesting.
few
I feel like
questions
most
asking,
earnings
what do you
calls
see as
you like
Palantir's
don't
unique
get
differentiator that
video
others
on
may
it.
not
I mean,
understand?
it's like kind of fun, you know, being
Alex
able to
mentioned
see
a bit of this here.
them
You know,
answer
it's
these
become
questions a lot.
fashionable actually for lots of companies to start hiring FDEs.
Yeah, I think they
The
should do this a
Financial
lot
Times had an
more if
article
you're
about
a
how it's the most
company doing
popular
an
new
earnings
job
call.
title.
You should
But
you
what
should
you see
stream
is
it
that they
on a
don't really
video.
understand
You should
it's
stream
just
it on
mimetic.
PMT Live.
If you-
That's where you
everything
should
Alex
do
just
your
said, like,
earnings
we
calls.
build software that works,
Yeah, I
not
mean,
software
seeing
that
what was
bugs. We
happening
build
in that
software
room
for the
live
world
when
as
the
it
Coinbase
exists, not a world that
CEO
never
was going
was.
down the
And this
line
ability
on
to
the
find what's true,
prediction market
that comes from the
strikes,
FDE.
that would have
Success
been
is not did we sell the
legendary
software,
to
it's did
us.
we solve the problem.
Yeah, that would have
And
been a
we
lot
have
of
built
fun.
an entire software stack over 2 decades downstream of creating value for our customers. That led to the ontology a decade ago, more than a decade ago. Which
Yeah, what is
a
the
fundamental prerequisite
Palantir
to getting
stock
value out of
doing on
LLMs
this
in the
earnings
enterprise?
call?
And this past year, it led to
kinda
AI
curious.
Hivemind and
Semper,
AI
it says he
FD.
has 3 shares. I think it's
The
been
other
ripping
thing,
lately.
which like is implicit in that is
PLTR,
the way we
yeah.
work forces us to go up the chain of complexity every day.
Oh, it's pumping,
So
but
we're
it's
taking
pumping
on
like
the most
3-4%.
painful, most integral.
Yeah,
most
I mean, a
valuable
market cap of
parts the
500
stack
billion,
in every
I mean, just
enterprise,
to, you
and
know,
it's
this
precisely
isn't like
because
this
that's the way
isn't
we
a
actually
stock,
lever our
you know,
ability to deploy
group, but like,
and orchestrate FDEs.
you know, we've
That's the way
seen
we
the
make
stock
our
market go on a
product stronger, and
generational
quite
run
frankly, that's
recently.
the way we produce these
My
numbers,
strategy
because
now is
the
like the
closer
stock
you
market
are
has
to the
run up
front
so
line of the
much.
very
If we
complex
are in a
problem
bubble,
that a black
where
box
should you
was
put your
not meant
money?
to solve,
Prediction
cannot solve,
markets.
and at this point, everyone knows a joke to
Not
believe it
financial
can solve.
advice, guys.
Not financial
I
advice.
have
And by the way, it's the safest
a lot of
position for us
money
because
in the stock
this
market.
company, we will always believe
What I have on
that
prediction
we are
markets
outsiders. We
is
need to
maybe,
be in the
you
place
know,
where the most valuable problem is
20%
because
of
that's
you
the
know
way
you don't
we
even
end up
like.
staying, solving the problem
I
tomorrow,
love prediction
tomorrow,
markets.
and
Maybe
the
I
way
should
we
have
get
more on
paid.
prediction markets because I could probably make more money. But you know,
Thank you both. Our next question is
definitely
from Dan with
keep a
Wedbush.
lot of money
Dan,
in the
please
stock
turn on your
market.
camera,
Buy
and you'll
index
receive a prompt to
funds,
unmute your line.
passive investments. But you can make a lot on prediction markets. So if you're profitable long run, definitely size up. You know.
Mr. Dan Ives, we don't see you.
Hello.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah, great.
Who is this guy?
Another monster quarter for you guys.
This is
Congrats.
hilarious. So the hedge fund analyst or
my question for you
the
is,
equity research
your
analysts are
browsing
calling in
team,
on video. This is great.
Can you just walk through
This guy's
just the
calling in from a
accelerated sales
Nokia
cycles that
phone.
you're seeing from so many
I agree with what
companies that have
Grande is
gone
saying
to the
about he
boot
should be
camps?
filming these
Like,
mentions
what
and having a
surprised
5-second
you
delay.
from when they come to you at that first sort of, contact to now actually launching deals? I mean, maybe you could talk about that just in terms of everything you're seeing anecdotally.
Great, thanks, Dan. So I think, we look at U.S. commercial. We closed 1.3 billion in TCV. That's 6x on a dollar-weighted duration basis from what it was a year ago. And of those deals, 83 were worth $1 million or more.
Could somehow
40 were
become
$5
an
million
equity
or more.
analyst
So 21 deals were
and
$10 million
bait
or
an
more.
earnings
I've been
call
involved in
with
a lot
a
of those
strike?
directly. I'm feeling
That would
exactly
be
what
a
you're asking on the
legendary
ground
play.
from customers. And
So,
what's
okay, yeah,
what's
let's-
happening now
let's
is
say
from
the
the
strike
C-suite
is
across the company,
NVIDIA
customers are coming to
or
us looking to
Hadia.
not just say, let's
You-
do a use
you
case. The
get
customers were
on the
most impact
line
are coming
and
to
you're
us saying,
like,
how do we deploy this?
Yeah, what
across
do you think
our
about your
entire
partnership
organization?
with
How do we reorganize
NVIDIA
our
or
entire organization around
Hadia? Just
Palantir
bait
and
them.
AIP?
That
And
would be
that's what's
sweet.
happening on the ground.
I
And we're
100%
singularly focused on
disagree.
delivering the value to the
That is
customers,
terrible
and that's
for
our
mentioned market
go-to-market. How do we get the
liquidity.
product to them and deliver
Do
it?
not
Where Ryan is,
ever
like,
do that for
really
any
very
mentioned
much on
market
the front
calls.
line
And
here
if
is,
you're an equity
there's
research
both
analyst,
how
you're going to
many
be making like
customers approach
6,
you.
maybe
I think
7
where we're
figures if you
seeing
get up to the
the
managing
biggest shift
director
is
level. It was
the
a career path I
customers
really
who
wanted to do
approached
at one point.
very
So
quickly want
do
to
not
move
do that.
to,
Preserve
how would I
long-term
change my
mentioned market
enterprise
liquidity,
to
guys.
express it in a way
Keep
that's
it
most
honest.
valuable according to my terms
Not-
in your product.
And
then
guys,
when
if you heard that PMT was saying that he was on a career track to make 7 figures, so he left that track to do prediction markets. So that means that he thinks he's going to make more than 7 figures, 8 figures.
All I'm going to say is lock in. Okay, we are going on a generational prediction market run, a generational Kalshi run. Okay, I've been making a few K every week. You guys just wait, strap in. Once I start sizing up, once I start learning about politics and other markets outside of mentioned markets, I am going to be someone to be reckoned with. That's all I'm going to say.
Not exclusively. And I want you to not only do the product side, but also tell us how would you actually implement AI?
What's the market for how many times PMT is going to say strap in on stream?
Lock in. I never say strap in. Why does he always say strap in? I always lock in is my phrase. I'm bringing back the Zoomer term lock in. It fell out of fashion, but I love lock in.
Of a problem that could affect a subset of the business. By the way,
we got Jared in the chat all the way from Australia. It's probably like midnight over there.
But this is like exactly the same in the U.S. government and around the world. It's like the things that we're sitting on and working on are like crazy, crazy important, and they're not downstream of the problem. They are the problem, and we're reshaping them.
Thank you both. Our next question is from Mariana with Bank of America. Mariana, please turn on your camera, and then you'll receive.
Mariana, do not ask about Hadian.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Hello.
I'm going to do, as usual, a couple of questions.
What's good,
one
Nick?
On commercial, one on defense or government. On commercial, I'd like to follow up to Dan's question. And let's see if you can discuss.
Guys, do we have any New York City locals in the chat right now?
To see this accelerated appetite to incorporate Palantir.
We are going to have a massive in-person live stream tomorrow. I don't know what the guest list is looking like, but I think if you're a PMT fan,
as well.
you can probably come.
I don't know. In a visit,
What's up, Brooklyn Blade? Wow, this is probably the first person who's ever commented from Twitch. Everybody usually is watching on X.
And on the government side,
I'm doing great, Brooklyn Blade.
Government up 50% plus is really impressive.
You're visiting NYC? Oh, this weekend, not tomorrow? Shoot.
Like Golden Dawn
well, DM me anyways.
Up to this.
But yeah, if you guys are in NYC and you want to join the in-person event tomorrow, DM me.
There's the external one, which is like, what does it feel like? That's clearly
this might be the biggest in-person prediction market live stream ever. I mean, we're going to be breaking records here. We are going to be coming to you live.
Yeah.
I honestly think, we've seen the mainstream media's
ratings
come down year after
year. And deeper,
and you know what's been growing is independent media.
Tangible results.
I think we could see PMT be the next
there's
Joe
a network
Rogan,
effect incoming,
Mr.
like customers
Beast,
sharing impact
Aiden
we're having,
Ross.
and direct impact we're having with customers. Customers are seen as
using media and me in the same
doing,
sentence just is not a good combination.
And I think that what we're seeing is more and more are now coming to us saying,
do not use me as a media source.
Are coming to us saying, let's do more.
Ryan is our.
Let me see if I can pop the chat out.
A wonderful. I'll just give a vulgar version here.
It's fun.
Our clients realize the choices suck.
Aiden Ross, Aiden
Ross. They've tried a lot of stuff.
That kind of has a ring to it.
And then we're in so many verticals.
If PMT's Aiden Ross, who are you?
We're in vertical 252, and we dominate for one customer. People see that.
Maybe he's an Andrew Tate.
And then they're like, oh, well, I'll try this with some, I don't know.
In a good way.
Half fake thing. It's just like, and then a lot of people really still don't understand that are still trying to do this long migration where, LLMs are going to perform as if they're LLMs and ontology and as if the LLMs were not a commodity. And then
all right.
But then in
Grande
the
top 10
they see the final result.
Sold out
else
of a
using
Hadian
ontology,
shares.
Foundry,
he lost
FDA,
his trust in me.
And
but
now it's like,
I'm
wait
happy.
a minute.
They can say Hadian all they want.
Hundreds of millions of dollars and getting nothing, and the person down the road I kind of look down on is way ahead of me. And
but Grande Top 10 has sold his Hadian no shares, so now I don't have any stress if Hadian no hits because I don't care about my money. I care about Grande Top 10's money.
If you want it to work, you're gonna have to do these 5 things.
But Grande Top 10,
you're gonna have to
by the way,
talk to Ryan. And
there was a market for this. Grande Top 10 will literally never overtake me in Kalshi profits.
We're gonna have to
that is a fact. I am always going to be on top
for your business,
in
and
profits.
Also look at the costs that are dragging you down. By
the
way,
who might be
the
sharp
cost
is this guy
for most
Gusta.
businesses is not
he's
just
in
the
some
actual
PhD
money they're wasting.
program talking about
wasted money creates an
stuff I don't
ecosystem
even
of waste.
understand.
They're talking to all these vendors
Gusta told
all
me
the
to
time
take
about
anyone's
all these things will
legends,
never work,
and I lost
solving the
$500. I'm just kidding.
And so
I love
getting
Gusta.
pathogens out of their business
Gusta has
is
some
a
good
real issue,
League
and
of
now
Legends
they're
alpha.
Really interested in this. And then on the internal front, I would say, it's just we have to double down. The most important thing for us internally is, with all this success, we do not want to give up the unique attributes of Palantir and somehow purchase
I smell 40K profit tomorrow. Total profit for me. Oh my god!
Sure
I should have never given him the Hadian no strike. I don't know why I gave Grande that value.
Like if you heard our internal dialogue, it's much more
Grande.
Like, who's on the factory floor?
Please tell me you're on Democratic
what are we doing
sweep,
internally?
and
How do we make
that's
sure
how
our
we're
products
making our
are better
40K.
and better? How do we make sure, say, Sham?
I'm actually very close. I'm
figuring out what the underlying tech issue is.
You're playing inch yes.
Best product team.
I'm gonna
very exact right.
If you're playing inch yes, I don't know what to say at this point.
Especially mission deployments, which we highly
inch yes on Tuesday Night Football.
Our time and energy and. Like
that's like ripping my heart out.
How do you make sure Palantir stays as tribal?
Grande, what plays are you on that you're going to make 40K tomorrow?
No. He's at like 39.5K or something when I checked this morning. So he's only like $500 from 40K. So he's going to cross it. I am impersonating.
We're on the front line of all adversaries, including vis-a-vis
Foster,
China.
come on. What are you saying?
And we
Foster's a massive hater
and
here.
We've supported Israel.
A lot of people think me and Foster are close. In reality,
but many people find that controversial. Okay, so how do you align people?
Someone told me that
on these
Foster's the number one mention orchestrator because he fades everything that PMT
These are really
says.
hard and tricky.
That's a lock right there.
We spend a lot of time. I would say as an
okay,
overarching thing.
Don't fade me on mentions, but fade me on politics. Because I was talking through my political plays today, and I told someone that I legitimately had money on Curtis Sliwa taking second, and they were like, "You're schizo." So
please tell that to
do not tail any of my political plays. I commented that on my post. Just make sure.
PMT, you bonded Mamdani, yes.
I mean, that's
work.
They're no,
if we need to fade you.
No. Mamdani, yes, is going to hit. That's a lock. That's a mortal mega lock. Mortal mega lock.
Of trying to follow Alex there and just say on the internal side with AIFDE, that's PMT, why we actually originally built it. Headcount has grown roughly 10%, but revenue grew 63%.
Exactly.
We've made our FDEs wildly more productive. And I mean, so much so that we decided to give it to our customers, and we've started to make our customers.
Did you just break your phone?
When you have a note like the Army Vantage note, where the Army's consolidating into the Army data platform, you now have an army, a literal army of green suiters who need to become proficient developers in the software.
This guy's
you have a generation
still
of green suiters
working
whose
today,
first interaction with the software is going to be with AIFDE. They're going to be superheroes on day one. I think it's accelerating adoption, it's accelerating understanding, like the depth of adoption, not just are you using it, but how much of it are you really using? How much of it can you understand?
I would sell out at
and then
94.
quickly on your comment on the U.S. government business, like, yeah, the number of opportunities out there are great. I can't comment on all the opportunities you mentioned there, but whether it's NGC2, the continued growth of Maven, I mean, we have, of course, America's involved with 3 conflicts right now in the world, from Europe, the Middle East, and in our own.
We still got like
right
18
now.
minutes of this, guys.
And things are getting a little spicy in Africa.
By the way, let me say
he
something.
just got a call from his
political,
boss, so he's got to.
And I'm not saying other people agree.
Priorities,
with this,
though.
But when people are attacking
on top.
Our
Calci
soldiers for stopping fentanyl from coming to this country, I want people to remember: if fentanyl was killing 60,000 Yale grads instead of 60,000 working class people, we'd be dropping a nuclear bomb on whoever was sending it from South America. So it's slightly like we in this at Palantir, we are on the side of the average American who sometimes gets screwed because all the empathy goes to elite people, and none of it goes to the people who are actually dying on our streets. And that's why.
Oh my gosh!
Like, when you have an open border,
you keep scaring me when you say things like
American
that.
Earns less. I know my fellow progressives believe having an open border is going to make things. But that's because they're actually repping elite people instead of the working class.
Let's go,
and the same thing in South America. It's like, to believe our Constitution does not give us the right to stop 60,000 deaths a year of working class men and women.
That's how these go.
Insane.
Whoa, did my camera
this
just freeze?
This country is right to stop that, and I am very proud. I don't know all the efforts we're involved in, but to the extent we're involved in these efforts, I and most Palantirians are very proud of this.
You're here.
Foster, did you just joke with me?
Alex, as always, we have a lot of individual investors on the line. Is there anything you'd like to say before we end the call?
Foster, you are the worst.
Please turn on the
when
conventional
it scares
television
the hell out of me.
and see how unhappy those that didn't invest in us are. Enjoy, get some popcorn. They're crying. We are every day making this company better, and we're doing it for this nation, for allied countries, and also for, and I never really like the term retail investors. How about sane people who put up their own money and fight for us? And by the way, you are fighting for the right side of what should work in this country. Meritocracy, lethal technology vis-a-vis adversaries,
another hit on
products
Imagine
that
taking
spread
no on
GDP
lethal,
to working class men and women by making their value creation
That's
higher.
not going to be me.
And by
We're
the way,
taking
your
yes
bank
lethal
account.
every time.
And thank you for that.
Thank you. That concludes Q&A for today's call.
We're done. We're done? Are we done? Let's go. All right, let me pull up. Let's pull up him and hers. Did I lose him and hers? Where's him and hers? No, I have to have it up. I had it up. How did I lose him and hers earnings? I was just in the earnings call. Where did it go? Here we go. Him and hers coming on now.
Just strong in the quarter. Just curious how you're thinking about capital deployed towards buybacks versus obviously you're
another
spending a good
PMT lock. That's what I'm saying. Grande, do you think I would ever give you a bad play? You
I
got
think we have the luxury
40
of very strong free operating cash flow, as well as a very strong
mega max lock.
cash
That's
position.
A bond, guys. I got some hate on my
I think similar to
bond
prior
post. That was a
quarters,
bond
anytime
right
where we view
there.
that there is a meaningful disconnect in the valuation of the company, the market value relative to its intrinsic value, we will step in and act. And so I think, in the prior quarter,
right
we did see those dynamics take play with some of the volatility that we saw in our stock. So we opted to lean in. That said, I think that the first and foremost priority will always be around investing in the appropriate levers to grow the business. That includes, like we spoke around earlier in the prepared remarks, extending the set of personalized capabilities that we have to offer our patients, investing in the overall platform, as well as in international markets.
All right, you got.
But I think we just have the luxury of a very strong balance sheet and very strong cash flow, where we're able to do all of those things while at the same time
on Palantir. Let's go.
Realize disconnects between the intrinsic value and the market value when there's a rush.
Got it. And then I guess my follow-up, as I think about, obviously in the press release you talked about the negotiations with Novo.
I didn't find that.
As we think about your decision to bring down price on your GLPs and those conversations, I'm just curious, what are the negotiating points? What are the discussion topics that are kind of holding that agreement back right now, or what will it take to get it over the line? And then maybe just thinking about what the pros and cons are for rolling out a Novo product here, both for you and maybe even for Novo. Thanks.
How am I plus
Thanks,
300?
I can probably answer that. And,
down.
For better or worse, not give you too much information, but
I mean,
there's probably not much we can share on
here,
the specific conversations that have been going with Novo. I think we're excited to be engaging with them, and I think Mike is a great new leader for the organization.
All right, take care, Grande. Enjoy.
Generally, like I've said, we believe
did
and
he
have
say
always
Europe?
said breadth
It
of
seems like he
options
did
for
because the
patients
market
is best.
is down to 1 cent. So I think
we're
so.
a platform where we hope to give people the absolute right course of treatment, the right course of care, and connect them with providers that can help them make those decisions. And so from our perspective, we are constantly engaging with great innovative therapeutics, great innovative diagnostic companies, et cetera, next gen biotech companies, because we just want to make sure that Hims and Hers truly does represent the must-have in healthcare over time, and ultimately, our job is to fight on behalf of everyday people to hopefully bring that to them at a price that is truly affordable to them and their family.
The next question comes from the line of Eric Percher with Nephron Research. Please go ahead.
Thank you. I'd like to check in on weight loss growth components versus your initial expectations for the year. Ask if you're still on path for $725 million for the year or better, and a little bit of context on how the compound versus oral market has developed.
Thanks for the question, Eric. Yeah, I think the short answer is we see continued strength across each component of the weight loss specialty. The oral business continues to remain robust and grow at healthy rates. A lot of that is driven by the fact that there's broader eligibility requirements for our oral offering, as well as there's the ability to reach a broader audience of people that may be apprehensive around injectables. They're also at a price point where users are able to access them at a lower price, but still realize over half of the benefits that they're able to see on the injectable side. We also continue to see the GLP-1 offering remain strong as well, and so we are on pace to achieve the $725 million or greater target that we put forth earlier this year.
And on the personalized compounded side, you provided us with 20 to 25 million headwind. Was that? Did I catch that as 4Q? And could you just kind of speak to the cadence as you offboarded the commercial doses into 2Q to 3Q to 4Q? Help us a little bit there.
Yeah, so I think a lot of the the drop that you saw earlier this year between the first quarter and the second quarter, that was primarily the result of offboarding the commercially available dosages that subscribers were on. I think as we look, to what's going to transpire over the next couple of quarters, what's effectively occurred is we started to ship the GLP-1s in smaller shipments. The net effect of that is we recognize our revenue on
all right, we got 10 minutes
when
left.
shipments occur, not necessarily when the consumers place their orders. So we continue to see very strong order velocity, but because we're shipping in smaller cadences, that's effectively what's driving the headwind in the back half of this year that you see that we expect will materialize in the $20 to $25 million headwind. Now, what happens is as those consumers renew, because they're on a smaller or shorter cadence, as they renew more frequently throughout the year. And so what happens is you see a stacking of cohorts that kind of compounds each quarter. So our expectation is by the time we get to the back half of next year, this dynamic will largely normalize. And so it's less around internal dynamics around the business, and it's more around just like the adjustments to the shipping profile, cadence profile that we have for our subscribers.
The next question comes from the line of Ryan McDonald with Needham. Please go ahead.
Great, thanks for taking my questions. Andrew, I wanted to start on international dynamics. You've got Zava obviously under your belt now for about a quarter. I'm just curious, as you've gotten more comfortable and familiar with that business and started to spend more time in international markets, of how much is the sort of the HIMSS messaging and approach resonating outside of the U.S. market, and how's that informing sort of this international expansion plan? And as you think about these markets, it sounds like there's some pretty aggressive expansion. I feel like there's some a unique aspect within each country that sort of changes the dynamics of how care is provided. How do you, and what investments do you need to make to sort of scale your network of clinicians as you continue to broaden your reach internationally? Thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Ryan. It's a great question. Yeah, I think Zava has been a wonderful first bite into the international space. Immediately a creative acquisition, just great team, great operational capabilities, and incredible learning. They've already moved through quite a few markets already, which is been really fun to watch. I think probably the best takeaway so far is that we think the demand is the same as here in the U.S. Whether it's a national system, insurance-based system, it kind of doesn't matter. I mean, I think the global frustration with access to great healthcare is consistent wherever you live. The time it takes to meet with specialists, the quality of the care, the high-touch nature of the care, the personalized aspects of that care, the cost of that care. I mean, it's really, really quite consistent. And so we are, I think, given that, as well as given, I think, our confidence in what we believe is a really scalable operating model here in the U.S. Like, I think we've, over the last 8 years, optimized what we think is the winning formula, the winning experience for customers. I think we are now accelerating our ability to bring that into very key markets. And so as we shared, Canada will be going live in the near future. We're already in great conversations with all the major generic manufacturers up there in anticipation of the generic semaglutide, which goes live in 2026. We believe the Brazilian market is a really interesting market where we'll be spending time further deepening investments in the UK likely. as well as other smaller markets in Australia and Japan, et cetera. So, generally, I think we have a really good grasp of the competitive landscape in these markets, the consumer distinctions, the local dynamics to be aware of, the regulatory differences to be aware of. And so the experience might be slightly different in each. To your point, there might be nuances in positioning or in marketing or in offering. But generally, I think the frustration with care and the demand for a higher touch, consumer-centric care is very much widespread. And I think we have the team and the ambition and maybe the crazy, just a little bit of craziness in us, right, to go and attack this and be the winner quite quickly across all of these major markets.
All right, wrap it up.
I'll poke all there. Really appreciate it. Maybe from a follow-up perspective, I wanted to ask on sort of whole body lab testing and how that might be structured or packaged or integrated within some of the other offerings like menopausal health, low T, longevity into next year. Unless we're mistaken, I think that what we've seen in our experience on sort of the whole body testing market, especially in a cost-effective efficient manner for the consumer, is it can tend to be a bit lower margin business from a gross margin perspective. So, is that what you're seeing, or is that a risk from launching a standalone whole body lab testing offering, or if so, how are you going to package it with maybe more longitudinal offerings on the HIMSS platform to sort of enable that sort of, let's call it, strong LTV to CAC as we think about over the next year or two?
Someone
Thanks.
was talking about this earlier.
Yeah, it's a great question, Ryan. I think I think we're a really unique company in our ability to bring at-home lab testing or lab testing to the masses because our business is in helping people be healthier, right? So we do not long-term need to make huge margin off of these tests, which is distinctly different from everybody in market. It's distinctly different from major lab testing companies, other competitors that have diagnostics. Our business is ultimately helping you feel great and helping you get ahead and helping you refine what that personalized care should be and then acting on it. And so I think, to your point, there will over time probably be a really nice mix of both standalone diagnostic opportunities, which then lead gen into advanced treatment care, as well as bundled services for diagnostics in core treatment pathways, like you've seen with testosterone. I think you'll see that kind of continue to expand. So I think there'll be a nice diversity there, but ultimately my ambition, as we have done in the past, is to bring these offerings to market, verticalize the infrastructure over time, which we've already started to do with our Tribe acquisition and other investments when it comes to lab diagnostics. Establish that, systematize that,
right.
Bring the cost down
One more question?
to incredible levels where you can really and truly undermine most of the peers on price and give customers huge access to this information, and then ultimately be the trusted partner that can help them take that information and be incredibly action-oriented and precise with what the next step should be, how the personalized care should follow, and the hand-holding through that cadence. So I think we're really uniquely positioned to do exactly what you're talking about, but I think there's a true distinction with us, given the fact that our core business is to help keep you healthy and keep you on top of these issues. And also we have the ability to verticalize this infrastructure in a way that can leverage testing as lead gen into the platform.
Man, if we had survived in Europe,
Thanks, Andrew.
we would have just printed on this. But
your next question comes from the line of Jonah Kim with TD Cowen. Please go ahead.
Thank you for taking my question. You've seen nice leverage on the marketing side. Just curious if there has any changes in your marketing strategy or approach. And as you think about the new year, how are you thinking about the marketing, especially around, Super Bowl and just lapping your great success last year? Thank you.
All right, this has to be the last call.
Yeah, thanks for the question, Jonah. I think we see, a couple different levers that we're able to deliver very strong marketing leverage, both on the quarter as well across the year. One is like we
No,
do
I'm not playing
see,
Trump's
that there
calls.
is significant leverage coming
I want to
from
go back to
the
regular
fact
White
that
House Trump
we see more and more
speeches,
acquisition coming from both
but
organic channels as well as via
I was thinking about it today.
lower cost
He mentioned
channels.
energy like
I think as we
100
start
times on his
to
last
push
telecall or
further
whatever.
into
So
the
maybe yes,
comprehensive
energy's
full
a
body
play,
testing
but I'd
that we spoke
probably
around
lean towards
earlier,
taking no shares on a call
that
like that.
dynamic
They're
is
very
likely
short,
to
I think
continue to
like
get better
10
and better
minutes
as we kind of
max.
optimize and tune that engine. We also see from the shift of more and more users opting for personalized solutions, the retention is becoming stronger and stronger. And most of the marketing spend that we have is either around educating consumers around the overall brand or acquiring new users. And so as we see retention elevate, we inherently get leverage on that front.
You have energy, yes?
Now, what we do see is we have a wide array of different growth opportunities in front of us, and will be coming in front of us in the coming quarters. That is some of the newer specialties that we've launched, such as testosterone, menopausal support, elevating our presence in some of the markets where we've already seen success, like the UK, as well as some of the markets that we will likely enter, or that we are going to enter in the near future, such as Canada. And so I think we're not going to be shy, around investing.
Is this it?
That said, I think we're going to do so in a way that's consistent with our historical capital allocation framework that calls for the payback period of 1 year. Basically positions the ecosystem to benefit from greater and greater economies of scale.
Jack's the guy
so that as we look a couple quarters down the road from those investments, you start to see some of the leverage that we're enjoying right now from some of the investments we've made in the past. And so I would say as we look to 2026, as mentioned, the growth opportunity is probably even larger than what we anticipated before, so we will lean in and invest in that. That said, I think that the profile and our confidence in the ability to hit the 2030 targets of the $6.5 billion of revenue and $1.3 billion of EBITDA is only increasing.
Got it. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes today's call.
Boom.
Thank you all for joining, and you may now disconnect.
That's it. We're done. Let's go. We went 5 out of 6 for about $750 profit. We'll take it. We'll take it. It would have been close to 2K had Europe no held, but they brought it up. They mentioned it. Is what it is. Thank you guys for tuning in. Like Ben said, and he's coming out right now. He just got off his call. We got a big stream tomorrow. So stay tuned. We're probably going to go live first. Like the big stream's going to be when election results start coming out tomorrow at like 7. Right? That's when they come out? 7?
7.
So maybe we'll go live at like 6. But I'm also going to have another surprise guest on earlier.
Rhymes with Kamdani.
Yeah, rhymes with Lambani. It's a joke. I'm not having Mamdani on. But tune in tomorrow, guys. Gonna be a fun NYC race. Ben is gonna try to convince me for some more positions tonight to load up on. Maybe I will. He's big on the Democratic sweep. Maybe I'll ride with him. But another W earnings call stream, guys. Thanks for watching. Take care.